Hello, everyone. It is a Sunday morning. I hope you are doing well. You definitely got a no makeup Sunday. Yeah, this is just kind of what you get today. Today, on Travel the World as a speaker, I'm so excited to have you here. I'm your host, Phylecia Jones, and the show is brought to you by iFind You Close, where we actually go out and research speaking engagements for people who are looking to market their business or their message on stage, and we deliver them every Monday. So tomorrow is going to be a fresh crop of new speaking opportunities. So you can go check us out at ifindyouclose.com. And today's show is going to be the loneliness of entrepreneurship. Now, you might be wondering, why am I talking about speaking and traveling and entrepreneurship? Well, the whole purpose of the show is to talk about the things that I love, that is travel and being able to leverage speaking to travel. And one of the things that I did was use speaking to grow my business, to build my authority. And it absolutely works. It absolutely works. But at the same time, let's just be straight up honest, you are growing a business at the same time. You may not realize it, but you're doing a lot of entrepreneurship moves, and doing that can get pretty lonely. So we're going to talk about that today, on what it really is like to travel like this, in this capacity, to run a business in this capacity while trying to travel. Because what we do as business owners, as travelers, I mean, if you look at our YouTube pages, if you look at our Instagram pages and Facebook, whatever, everything's great. Every travel experience is the most amazing thing. We got great photos. But on the other side, you don't really see I won't say it's downfalls. It's just the slow times. You know, when you are by yourself a lot, when you're building content by yourself a lot, you're trying to do these speeches by yourself a lot. You are in front of audiences, and that's the thing. You're in front of audiences, you get to do your thing, but as soon as you're done, you'd be surprised how you're just done. I mean, you may interact for another hour with people depending on the type of conference, and then you go to your room and that's it for the day. You wash, rinse, repeat, and start over. So we're going to talk about that today. And of course, I always try to give you a travel story. I'm not going to give you a travel story today because the travel story is going to be mixed in with all of talking about the loneliness of entrepreneurship. So for those of you who are looking to travel the world, you know, try to speak, all those things, and if you're growing a business, I just want to say, I understand what you're going through because I have always loved to travel. I have loved growing my business, but I also know that there are days it's just like, I don't even know what is happening, why it's happening, and why is it happening to me, because that's just how it is at times. Nobody really talks about this aspect of any of this other side of the glam side. You know, a lot of people see speaking on stage as being very glamorous. They see traveling as being very, very glamorous. And to some degree, it really is. I mean, I'm just being honest. It really is, to be the limelight, to be able to travel, to take these photos and have all these experiences it's an amazing thing. And it's an amazing thing with a lot of privilege added to it as well. But on the other side, there is this side where a lot of these things that you're doing by yourself. You're really doing by yourself, and you have to figure out how to make all of this work, especially if you have a family, if you have people that you care about and you're trying to take care of. I don't want to show the negative side, but I'm going to have to show some negative side. A lot of people that I know who speak, who travel, who grow their businesses, sometimes their personal lives can be kind of in shambles because you're so driven to do this thing. You're so driven to show off this perfect life, this perfect business, this perfect travel schedule, that you can miss out on all of the things that's right in front of you, like your family, your loved ones, the people who care about you, friendships. You kind of, it's not that you sacrifice those, is you kind of you kind of sacrifice quite a few of those, because not that many people truly understand what it is that you're doing. And I think that's the hardest part about growing a business, entrepreneurship, and doing all these things to market it. Very few people understand what it really is like. You have your friends in the business world who get it. They get it, but they're also so busy that you don't have time to just hang out with them either. And then you have your family, and who's supportive. We're going to divide them. Some ain't supportive, some are. You have your family who's supportive, but they really just don't understand all of the things that you're doing. And then you have those who are just pure straight haters. You just got to get rid of the haters in your life. but trying to maneuver all of this and deciding which battles to fight, which battles to not fight, which choices to make, which ones, and some of them are kind of like sacrifices. What are we willing to sacrifice to to do all of this stuff, and what are we not willing to sacrifice? And you'd be surprised, a lot of us who are doing this, we're willing to sacrifice our sanity, our health, just so that we can keep growing. And over the last year, especially with the pandemic, you're seeing a lot of that kind of bubbled over the surface for some people, and had to just take a break and reprioritize what was important and what wasn't important. Not everybody does that, but some people did. But while you're in this little world, you spend a lot of it by yourself. The hotel rooms, you're by yourself. And I know a lot of people, they want to travel with their family. You can for some events, but my husband can't come with me for everything. Sometimes he doesn't want to, because I'm working the whole time. And that's the other thing, because when you are doing this, when you're speaking, and you're traveling, not all of it is vacation. and that's hard for a lot of family members to understand. Is not all vacation. And I've had to have that big conversation with my husband, that when I get to a place for the next 4 days, I'm in work mode. I'm in networking mode. And then after that, we can go hang out, which is fun. But until then, the questions of, well, when are you going to be done? It's like, I can't really operate that way, because I am in a work mode. So it is kind of, it's not really, it's a loneliness. I mean, you have somebody there, but it's a loneliness that somebody really doesn't understand what it is that you're doing. And some people do, but not everybody will completely understand 100%. So when you're doing this and you're doing it by yourself, you are in these hotel rooms alone, you're prepping alone, you're walking around event spaces by yourself until everything starts, and you're just getting into that mental game of being ready to put on, not a performance, but it is kind of a performance. And then you do your thing, you shine, you dazzle everyone, they love you. Then you go eat by yourself, you go to the room by yourself. And not that is not a bad thing, because sometimes you need, at least for me, I need that space to kind of, woo, all right, I need to recharge myself. But after a while, when you do it so many times alone, it can get to you. It really can. It can get to you that, or these are some joyous moments, but you're spending them by yourself. Or you're not going to a nice restaurant, you're in the hotel, you're doing takeout. So it's the non-sexy side of all of this stuff. And and the speaking and the going out and meeting people is all part of the entrepreneurship part, because even though you go get to do all that stuff in front of people and you're by yourself, you still have to come home. You have to do the research. You have to sit down here and plan for hours and for weeks. What's your marketing strategy? What are we selling? What products are we putting together? What's our voice? Managing your teams, making sure your social media is set up properly. And you're making all of these decisions kind of by yourself. And I know a lot of people say just hire some folks to do it. And, not all of us are making that much money to bring in a CEO to make decisions. Once you get there, yes, it's going to make life a whole lot easier. But in the beginning, it's going to be you making all of these decisions, all of the decisions. What are we talking about? What are we speaking on? Where are we going to? How are we researching it? How are we marketing? What are we selling? What are we not selling? What are we putting together? What's our website look like? What's our campaign look like? What's our pitch strategy? All of it is kind of by yourself. So when you have these decisions and you're, marinating on them 24/7, this is where the loneliness gets to. And if you're lucky, if you're blessed enough to have a good friend to talk this out with, that's great. But sometimes we have friends that don't want to talk business all the time. So you got to have that mix, and that's why you have to have different friends for different things. It's been more important to me the last year to have like friend time. Like every Friday, I have a friend, and we get on the Zoom for an hour. And even if we were in person, we could meet in person safely. We would still probably do this because it's like, you know what, let's just check in and just see what's going on. So I would say some of the solutions to around this is try to have a friend that is open to this. Now, it's always easy to say, well, I got a friend, I can do this, but sometimes we have friends that are in the hamster wheel just like us, and it may be hard to get their time to hang out with you, or just to have an hour or 30 minutes of like, hey, let's just decompress, that type of thing. And you can get some of this in networking groups, but it's kind of hard because sometimes you can relax only a little bit because people are still judging you whether or not to do business with you. So you're kind of still on. You kind of have to find a friend that's in the same place as you to just say, you know what, whoo, this stuff is crazy out here in this world. So if you have that friend, keep them. Those days are going to be so precious to you. But in the beginning, I mean, this took what, 6, 7 years to get somebody, to find somebody on the same wavelength so that we can kind of, what, I just don't want to be in performative mode the entire time. And not everybody's open to this. Some people are like, well, put it on my schedule. We'll meet in person and then we'll have an agenda. Yeah. You have to decide what really works for you, and that's just another sign that they're in the hamster wheel of, I got to plan out everything. So that's why it does get lonely, because you're trying to find people who you can relax with. You're trying to find your social circles, but at the end of the day, you're kind of left with all of these decisions, like all of these choices, all of these decisions, all of the pressure, because a lot of people have pressure from investors, from family to make money now, make money now. And it's hard for people to understand that, sometimes in business, it's just not the way you think. It's not that you're bringing in buku dollars of cash. I wish it was like that. And for those who are bringing in instant cash in the beginning, because I know what that's like too, where you'll have a streak and it's just like boom, 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 everybody's giving you money, and then boom, it's gone, and then you're scrambling, you're scraping at the walls trying to figure out how to reproduce that over and over again. So it's a very interesting world, in the world of business ownership and entrepreneurship. There's so many ups, there's so many downs, and it's just like this all the time. And it's not for everybody. It really isn't for everybody. I know there are a lot of people who are saying, if you want to build wealth, you gotta have your own business and all that kind of stuff. And I believe that to some degree, but I also believe that no, very few people will tell you the truth about entrepreneurship. It's hard. It's really hard. It's hard to stay on top of this, manage your family, manage your sanity, manage your health, and then try to do all the regular people things, like go on vacation. You'd be surprised, a lot of entrepreneurs don't go on vacation because they have to be there for the business. And then of course you got to put systems in place so you don't be there, but now that's another grind to get things in place for that. So it's a nonstop. It's a nonstop of it's a nonstop symphony of things, and everything plays its part. Everything plays its part, and you really are this conductor. You're this conductor, because there aren't multiple conductors. There aren't people feeding things into your ear. You're just by yourself. You know what the blueprint is. You know what the script is, but it's for you to keep things going, in tune, on count, and blending perfectly. And that is the trouble. It takes time to get to that point where everything can blend perfectly. And when you have all of this pressure on you by yourself, conducting all these things, it can get extremely lonely. It can get extremely lonely by yourself and with your thoughts. So for those of you who are going through this, I always recommend, you need a therapist. Oh boy, girl. You need a therapist. Now, I know a lot of people got issues with therapy and things like that, but I'm going to tell you, it is going to be the best thing you can do to just dump all this stuff out on somebody else. Because I know a lot of people think therapy is like, oh my gosh, somebody's playing with my mind. No, think of therapy as this is where you can just, woo, dump it all out. Like, man, I feel good. And I remember I talked to my therapist. I was like, sometimes I feel bad that I throw all this stuff on you because now you got to go decompress. I was like, but sorry, not sorry. I don't feel that bad. Uh, get a therapist. If you can't find a friend that's on the same wavelength, um, set up some time to just have a powwow and talk about all the other things. And the other things I will say with friends, there's a season for everybody. Not everybody, not every friend is going to last forever. And some new friends will come in exactly when you need them. And then also, the adult version of friendship doesn't look like high school or middle school. There's not your group of friends. I know some people have it, but the reality is you're going to have friends for different moments in life and different things you want to do. Like, I have friends for hiking, I have friends for happy hour, I have friends for business. And that's what adult friendships look like. Not the romanticized version of friendships that we grew up with and saw on television and thought we were going to be besties forever since high school. If you have that, great. But the reality is, you got to do the grown up version of friends. And everybody has a place. Everybody has a season. Everybody has a reason. Now, those are just my takes on the loneliness of entrepreneurship. Um, if you're feeling this way, please be sure to reach out, because this thing can get hard, and it's hard, and it can get frustrating. I mean, like, really frustrating to the point of having breakdowns. And if you've ever met a business owner that's never had a breakdown, they're lying to you, because I've had my moments too where it's just, how hard, you ask yourself, how hard do I have to work to move to the next step, like a baby step. And you realize you're working so hard, because a lot of us, we try to make it look easy. We make it look easy, and it really isn't. It really isn't. There are days where it's just frustrating. There are days you wish you had kept your job. There are some days where it's like, you know what? I'm just going to sit and eat ice cream all day long. It happens. So be okay with it. Go with it. It's all part of the process. So that's all I have for you. For today's show, just kind of wanted to drop a few things on what this world is like, and just to prepare you if you're new, if you've been doing this, you've been seasoned, just to let you know you're not by yourself. And just to give you a big virtual hug. Yay. So take care of yourself. We're going to be doing some fun things around business tomorrow. So see you then. Bye.